What's the story, everyone? Welcome back to Gaelic Games Fan TV. I'm joined here by Seamus Brady from Moncliha and Matthew Hurley from the Gaelic Statsman podcast. We're doing an end of season quiz, so we're going to test both of the lads' knowledge on do they know their GAA, do they know their Gaelic football. Obviously, so much happened this season in Gaelic football. It almost feels like it was so long ago now. It was only a month ago, but it only feels like it was longer than that in more ways than one. But yeah, we're going to be doing a bit of a quiz. We're going to be testing Seamus's knowledge. We're going to be testing Matthew's knowledge. And as I said to them both off air as well, we're going to try something a little bit new, a bit of a face-off. So there's going to be basically a couple of topics that we're going to run through. And either one will have to argue for, and then the other one will have to argue against. So it's going to be a little bit interesting. We're talking about Jim McGuinness, Raymond Galligan, who had the better season, Meath or Kildare, and should David Clifford win Footballer of the Year, because that does seem to be a bit of a topic for discussions. Even now, still over Twitter, some people are still arguing about it. So we'll definitely have to get into that. I suppose, lads, how are we? Seamus, come to you first. How's things? I suppose first time chatting to you since Dublin won the All Ireland. So how does that feel? And I suppose, are you still out celebrating, or?
Yeah, no, I'm saying there. I was saying to you off air. I've just arrived back in from Electric Picnic, so fairly tired. Voice is gone to bits. Fantastic weekend, but looking forward to this now. Been a good month, enjoying being All Ireland champions and all that. But yeah, looking forward to this quiz now. The idea of the debate of going back and forth, I'm very interested to see that, because I'll have to think of my opinions for both of them.
Yeah, and as I was saying, it could be interesting because you both might actually agree.
That's what would be weird.
You know what I mean?
I'm interested to see what I feel like. Me and Matthew agree on like most things, so
Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see who can bluff the other one into changing their mind. But yeah, I feel like we might have to have a little ball here and throw it to each other for our turn to talk and make good points.
Yeah, that absolutely should definitely be interesting. Matthew, how's life for yourself? Interesting seeing a Wexford jersey. I don't know how that came. You always seem to have random jerseys on. I don't know how that happens, but there we go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thanks for having again, Aaron. Yeah, I was actually discussing it with people I know. Like, I went to Wexford on holidays, and I just said I may as well buy a Wexford jersey. It's probably the nicest jersey in County GAA at the moment. So I said I'd buy it anyway. And if people watch the channel, I know I have a Limerick jersey, Tipperary, Sligo, Wicklow. So I have a load of other jerseys out in Cork, but the one jersey I wouldn't get in a million years is probably Kerry. So unfortunately, lads, you're not going to see me wear a Kerry jersey. But
you remember, Aaron, I was saying we agree on things.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we all do. I think we all have like a renowned hate for. I mean, maybe hate's a strong word, but I think we all fairly dislike Kerry anyway. I think that goes without saying.
I don't particularly dislike them, but they are Dublin's biggest rivals, so I think that kind of
it doesn't make sense. But yeah, so are you both ready for this? To test your knowledge. Do you both back yourselves? Do you think who's going to come out on top? Or,
well, as I said in the last one, like, Matthew's brain for GAA is mental, so I understand the competition I'm going up against here.
The thing is, though, Seamus comes up with excellent ideas on how the GAA should be improved and things like that. He should probably go into Congress himself. So I'm up against a very good challenger in itself in his own right. So it should be a very good battle.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, look, we'll get cracking into it. As I said, we'll flip a coin for who wants to go first. So we'll just on Google here that we will do the business. So anyone want to go heads or tails, or what are we thinking?
I'll go heads. Let's go.
Grand. Let's do it. Here we are. Maybe he was listening.
That's right. You heard what we do. Told it.
We'll go with it. So yeah. Do you want to go first, or would you rather Matthew go first? I suppose it's up to you.
I'll go first. I'll get it out of the way.
Let's do it. All right. So here we go. Right. Let me get all the jazz up here. So first question then: top scorer from play in the football championship in 2023.
Colin Muscal, is it?
There we go. Correct. To be fair, there'll be a few of these. There'll be a few of these starting off that you think, yeah, like that's an obvious one. But there we go. First round, by the way, is just for a single point. So there we go. Most appearances in the 2023 football championship. Now there are a few of these. So I'll take 3 answers in total. There's about 6 or 7 of these.
Okay. I mean, straight away, I'm looking at. This is senior football championship. It's definitely not Tailteann Cup.
Yeah, not Tailteann Cup, just senior football championship.
Okay. So straight away, I'm looking at Leinster and Ulster preliminary rounds. I'm tempted to go towards Conor McCarthy. Monaghan had a bit of a long year.
Nope.
No. So I get 3 guesses, is it? Or is it?
Well, there's 3. There's about 5 or 6 in total.
All right. Well, you can say that.
I'll give you 5 guesses. I'll give you 5 guesses. So that's 1.
Okay, it's kind of so not Monaghan then. James McCarthy.
James McCarthy. Yes, that is 1.
Okay. You see, Kerry didn't have a Munster. They didn't have a preliminary round. I'll go Jim O'Connor. Kerry.
Nope.
No. Brian Fenton.
Yeah, that's 2.
And I will go my final one. I will go with John Small.
John Small. No, incorrect. So the other ones were Con Basquel was 1, Con O'Callaghan was another, Lee Gannon was another. So it was all Dublin players in terms of most appearances, because Kerry only played 8 games, and then I think Monaghan played 7 games, in total. So there we go. Dublin's top scorer in 2023.
I feel like that's a bait one. Like off the top of my head, I haven't looked at. As I said, I've been at Electric Picnic. I haven't looked at the.
Yeah, probably should have scheduled this maybe a different time when your brain's a bit more alive. You know?
Probably should have read up on some stuff before I hopped into this quiz. I feel like Pascal is so obvious that like it probably isn't him. And you're looking at Cormac Costello. He took all the frees. I'm gonna go Cormac Costello. I think you were trying to swindle me there.
Yeah, I was, but it was Con O'Callaghan was the man.
Oh, okay. No.
Yeah. So there we go. We won 1 out of 3 correct so far. Who scored the winning penalty in the 2023 Ulster? There we go. He's nailed that one. So 2 out of 4. How many goals were scored in the championship? Now, I'll tell you what. The exact. I told you there's a few of these I threw in just in case it got too easy. I was like, I'll throw a few like ones I know.
I remember the number last year was nuts. I remember me and Matthew were miles off it last year.
I tell you what, if you come within 10, I'll give you the point. If you get the exact number, I'll give you 2.
I'll go 95.
Yeah, do you know what? You were within 10. You were within 10. It was actually no wait, you weren't actually. No, sorry. It was 114. Wrong. Sorry about that. Sorry guys. Bad
now Aaron can't do maths.
Yeah. It was within 10 there, but actually no, 114. So unfortunately. Do you know what? You were close though. You weren't a million miles off. In fairness. I read it as 104. I think I might need glasses to be honest with you. So that's the reason for that. But there we go. Who appeared in the Connacht final?
What do you mean?
The Connacht senior football final. Which county played?
I thought it was like a special guest or something. Someone just came on the field. What was it? Elton John or something came on in the middle of the pitch.
John, yeah.
Galway and Sligo.
There we go. Yeah, I feel like that one was nearly. I have some of these in here that are almost too easy that you're like, there has to be a catch, but there we go. So there we are. 3 out of 6 correct so far. And then the next one, we have the top score in the Tailteann Cup.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Time is ticking.
Yeah, time is ticking. I will quickly say Jordan Morris.
No.
I guess Pat Avon.
There we go. There's no bonus points, but you were correct there in saying that.
I was gonna go Liam Kerr just because of the Laois game as well. I remember him sticking away 2 goals.
Yeah, Jordan Morris wasn't far away though. I think he might have been number 2 maybe, but there we go. First county to lose 3 championship games in 2023. Now there was a good few counties who lost 3 championship games, but who was the first?
No, sorry. Wait. Oh, time's ticking again, is it?
Is
it senior
championship? I need to get one of them things like who wants to be a millionaire, you know that sound.
Is it no Tailteann Cup?
No Tailteann Cup, no, just championship.
Just senior championship. Clare.
No, incorrect. No, it was Donegal, because if you remember, Sligo drew with Kildare. Yeah, so there we go.
Clare did lose 3 though, did they?
Clare did lose 3, yeah. There was a few teams to lose 3, in fairness. Who knocked Fermanagh out of the Tailteann Cup?
Laois.
There we go. So you're on 4 out of 9 correct there, if I've got that right so far. Who scored the goals in the All-Ireland final?
Paddy Small.
Obviously players.
Paul. What?
Obviously the players,
Yeah, Paddy Small and Paul Gainey.
There we are. So 5 out of 10, 50%.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on your performance after the first round?
Shocking. Terrible performance, man. Don't listen to me. Actually, showing me up now.
To be fair, there were a few tough ones in there. And I suppose anyone who's watching on, make sure to join in. Plenty of answers that were going in there as well. So yeah, 5 out of 10. Matthew, are you ready?
Yeah, I'll probably do worse than James now, but let's see.
Right, top score in the football championship in total.
Shane McGuinness.
There we go. That's 1 out of 1. And then up next, we have who knocked Kildare out of the football championship.
Monaghan.
Correct. Most amount of saves from a goalkeeper in the 2023 football championship.
Is this in one particular game?
No, this is in the whole championship. This took a while, by the way, to verify.
Shane Ryan.
That is correct, yeah. That is correct. He made more saves than Stephen Cluxton, so there we are. Cork's top score in 2023.
Overall or just the championship?
Overall. Or just the championship, yeah, sorry.
Sherlock.
There we go. 4 out of 4, 100% so far.
Absolutely obliterated.
Who scored Kerry's goal in the All-Ireland semi-final versus Derry?
Gavin White.
There we are. 5 from 5. Who was the top scorer from play in Kerry's win against Tipperary?
Gonna hazard a guess. Tony Brosnan.
Wow, I don't know how you've managed to get that one. That's impressive, because I was thinking, this would be one where you go for Clifford or O'Shea. I might be able to
the thing is, remember Brosnan missed a penalty in that game, and I was thinking, did he get a score for Kerry that day? And I just had it at the end. I don't know how we got that one, to be honest. It was total luck.
There we go. 5 points in total is what he scored. Who appeared in the final of the Tailteann Cup?
Meath and Down.
There we go. 7 out of 7 so far. Very impressive. First manager to leave a county setup in 2023. So first manager just to leave his post.
Ray Dempsey of Limerick.
There we go. I feel like I should have made these ones more harder for you. Maybe I should have. Like it's like a grade or something. Who scored the first point in the 2023 All Ireland football final?
Cluxton.
Yeah, there we go. Jesus.
Oh, there we go. We do 10 out of 10.
I didn't think you'd know that one like that because that was one of them. I would think you'd go at like Costello or something like that. But there we go. Let's see if we can get this one now. The most used stadium in the football championship outside of Croke Park. Now, football championship and Tailteann Cup is included.
I'm gonna go Breffni Park.
No, incorrect. It was Portlaoise. Breffni Park was used a good few times. I think it was 4 or 5 times, but Portlaoise was used 6 times in total. See, Portlaoise was used for a double header, I think. So I think that's what, in the end, shaded it. So yeah, 9 out of 10. So not too bad at all. But the next ones are worth double points. So Seamus will definitely have his chance to get back in. But Matthew, what was your thoughts there on that performance? I mean, it wasn't too bad in fairness. 9 out of 10. You could have got them all right, but I suppose you have to leave one wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. Jesus, like the one with Tony Brosnan shot me more need, to be honest. Like I just the player. God, I don't know how that happened, to be honest with you, but yeah, it's a good place to be in at the moment. 90%. Like that's.
Yeah, there's definitely no inside jobs or anything going on here. I swear, like I'm definitely not.
Put your Instagrams up right now.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, but here we go. So yeah, the next round anyway will just be general questions. Round 2. So just I'll give both of you a guess, but whoever says it first gets the points. So 2 points each. So how many games did Cavan win in the Senior Football Championship in 2023?
1.
Matthew, what's your answer?
Does this include Tailteann Cup?
Just championship.
0.
There we go. Yeah, 0 is correct. So there we are. Oh yeah, I have to update your score. There we are, up to 11. So next one is, here we are, top scorer in the Ladies Football Championship.
Louise.
Overall or senior?
Overall. Oh no, senior. Sorry, senior.
Louise for senior.
Yeah, I'll give that Seamus.
Yeah, I suppose Seamus said it first, in fairness. So there we go. Who won the 2023 All Ireland Ladies Football Championship?
Dublin.
Yeah. I think Matthew said that.
2 points for that.
Yeah, well, I'll give you both the points. Why not? I'll be kind. I can be that guy, in fairness.
I mean, it's your quiz, so
it is to be fair. You know what I mean? Like, my quiz, my rules. Like it's like I feel like the guy who wants to be a millionaire here. I can just make.
Yeah. You've all the power here. You can be like, I don't like the way you're looking at me. You just have to lose in 5 points.
At what stage were Mayo knocked out of the championship?
Quarterfinal.
There we go. Matthew got that one, in fairness. So up to 15, and up next we have how many championship games did Armagh win in 2023?
4.
4 games. That is correct. There we go. 4 games. Yeah, that was good. So that puts Seamus up to 11. Matthew's on 15. There's not too much between you, in fairness. I still have a few questions to go here. Who won the Junior All Ireland Football Championship?
New York.
You both kind of said that at the same time, so we'll give it to both of you. Who was the only county that Dublin did not beat when they played against them?
Roscommon.
Yeah. I think Matthew just about
pipped
you there.
We need a little ball or something. We need like a little.
Yeah, it needs to be a buzzer or something. I don't know.
Buzzer,
Maybe.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. Is there any stickers or something in the chat?
Maybe, yeah. Well, it's still we're still finding things out as we go along here when it comes to this quiz. So we'll upgrade ourselves. We definitely will. But how many games did Cork win in the 2023 Football Championship?
3. No. Okay. Matthew.
Wait a minute. No. Yeah. Three's correct. Seamus got it.
Yeah, 3 is correct. So there we go. So Seamus is up.
That's not Wexford jersey.
Yeah. There we go. It's bringing you back in. So I think it's 19-15 is what I have here so far. So 4 points the difference between the two. True or false? Clare won the same amount of games as Tyrone in the football championship. True or false? Is this true or is it false?
True.
Oh, it is true.
It is true. Yeah, it is true because Clare won 2 games. Limerick and Cork and Tyrone won 2 games because if you remember, they drew against Westmeath in the final day of the
I remember thinking
stages. So there we
go. More games than they had.
That was one of them I was trying to catch his boat out, but Matthew didn't go for it. So yeah, 21. There we go. Last one. How many goals did Galway concede in the 2023 football championship?
1.
Could be correct, might be incorrect. What do you think, Matthew?
I'd say it's. I can't think of any other. I think it's. No, wait a minute. It's 2. It's 2.
Yeah, it's 2. Yeah. So there we go. There we go. So we're up to 23. So it's 23-15. But the next round, as I said, is going to be worth 5 points. So it's definitely up for grabs. Definitely still in the balance. Plenty of.
I remember I was a couple of points ahead, and then Matthew came up with the Lee Keegan and the Celtic Cross.
Yeah,
for 5 points.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So look, it's still in the balance. Still in the balance. What do we think about our performances so far, gents? I mean, I
think
Matthew's on fire here. I don't know, Seamus. You're gonna have
Matthew's absolutely been preparing for this.
He's been sitting at home all weekend while you've been out drinking up in Electric Picnic.
Yeah, true. That's I'm slow to the mark.
Well, here we go. Well, the next one, as I said, is definitely going to be interesting. So we're going to do a bit of a face-off, and the first topic we have is David Clifford should be Footballer of the Year. So one of you will have to argue that he should be Footballer of the Year, and one of you will have to argue that he shouldn't be Footballer of the Year. Obviously, Seamus won the toss the last time. So, Matthew, if you want to go first, you can. Up to you on this one.
Yeah, sure, I'll go.
Are you going to argue for or against?
Against.
Oh, very interesting.
There we go. I'm going to get...
Just state for the record that I gave James McCarthy the Footballer of the Year before this.
Yeah. There we are. All right, so I have a stopwatch here. So 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Right,
yeah, exactly.
Matches first, sorry.
David Clifford, yes, he did brilliant throughout the whole year. He scored them goals against Clare, but when the games really mattered in the quarter, the semi-final and the final, he had a combined shot accuracy of 55%. Compare that to Dublin forwards with Paul Mannion in the 60s, Cormac Costello had 100%, Colin Basquet had around the 60s as well, Conor O'Callaghan had around the same margin. So David Clifford was below all of them. And when you look at his performances, if you take stats out of it, his performance against Tyrone, he was very, very quiet up until obviously that brilliant overhead kick to put in for Sean O'Shea's goal, and against Dublin in the final, he was very, very poor. Do you think a Footballer of the Year actually deserves it after 2 bad performances in 3 games in Croke Park? In my opinion, Shane McGuigan has done absolutely brilliant throughout the year. Colin Basquet, you mentioned that, Pine Aaron, has done brilliant throughout the year, set up that goal for Paddy Small, which was absolutely crucial. And James McCarthy has been stood up when counted for Dublin, and ultimately Kerry didn't win the All-Ireland. And David Clifford only performed in 1 out of 3 big games. So in my honest opinion, David Clifford does not deserve Footballer of the Year because of those reasons.
There we go. Bang on the money as well. Literally just 59 seconds. So bang on the money. And by the way, it'd be up to the people in the chat to decide who wins each round. And obviously I'll have a say, I'm sure, as well. But Seamus, yeah, you'll have to argue for David Clifford to win Footballer of the Year. So here we go.
All right. Well, I'll give myself I'm looking at the clock because I want to make sure that I get it inside. Okay, so my take on it when I'm saying that David Clifford should win Footballer of the Year is I'm saying that you look at the big players throughout this season, You're saying that Clifford handled himself, I think, brilliantly in all those games. You think about everything that went on in his life behind the scenes, the amount of attention that he's under, the way he's carried himself has been absolutely flawless, in my opinion. On top of that, you look at the Munster final, his performance was outstanding. You look at the All-Ireland semi-final against Derry, fantastic. And that game was the type of game that other Kerry teams in the past would have lost, but Clifford led them from the front, being marked by the best man marker in the country, in my opinion. Chrissy McKay absolutely had him on sliced bread. On top of that, you look at James McCarthy. Yes, he was fantastic in the All-Ireland final, but he was damn lucky to not be sent off. And David Clifford, if he had been sent off, in my mind, put in better displays in individual games in the championship. When you're talking about impact, I don't think Kerry would have been in the All-Ireland final without David Clifford. So for me, if you're talking impact, you remove Clifford from Kerry, you remove McCarthy from Dublin. I still think Dublin win the All-Ireland, and I think Kerry go out with the semi-finals.
There we go. Perfect. So, yeah, do you know, actually, to be fair, this one's actually quite close. Like, if I had to call this, I think Matthew maybe slightly shaded it ever so slightly, but I think it's very much in the balance. So, yeah, I don't know for anyone who's watching, like, let us know who you think won that round, and maybe we'll come back to it a little bit later. But if I had to choose, I'd maybe shade it ever so slightly towards Matthew, but we'll leave other people in the chat, and we'll see what people say in regards to that. But yeah, the next topic then, Jim McGuinness will win the All-Ireland within 3 years. So Seamus, you have choice on this one. Do you think he will, or do you think he won't?
I think he will.
There we go.
I think that he will.
This is going to be an interesting one. So yeah, 1 second. So 3, 2, 1. Whenever you're good to go.
I'll go with 55. Sure. Okay, so I think Jim McGuinness will win the All-Ireland in 3 years with Donegal. The reason for that is look at the similarities between now and 2010. 2010, they've been decimated by Armagh in the qualifiers. 2009, the year before, annihilated by Cork and Croke Park. They were ranked number 19 in the country. McGuinness got in with their psychology, made them believe that they were going to win before they even ever did. The other parallels is that there's a gap now. Dublin, this is, in my opinion, the last hurrah for this Dublin team. There's no dominant team there now. Donegal can nip in and get an All-Ireland there in 3 years. There's not a doubt in my mind. His way of winning is just so ingrained into them. And if he can get that attitude into them with the likes of Neil McGee in the backroom team and everything, I feel like they 100% have an All-Ireland in them in the next 3 years.
There we go. Didn't even use the full minute. Didn't even need it. There we are. So, yeah, that was fairly solid. Matthew, I don't know what your actual opinion was in terms of Jim McGuinness, but you're going to have to talk to us as to why he won't win Donegal the All-Ireland. So let's hear it.
Yeah, Jim McGuinness saying that you might think he'll win the All-Ireland with Donegal in the next 3 years. What he did in 2012, obviously winning into after being appointed in 2011, but those are different time frames. When you look at football then, it was very, very competitive. But when you look at football now, you look at Kerry, you look at Dublin, and you look at it this year, was there anybody to challenge Kerry and Dublin? Like, we looked at the All-Ireland quarterfinals and you looked at the way Dublin dismantled Mayo so easily, you looked at the way Kerry dismantled Tyrone so easily. Those are probably signs that Kerry and Dublin are probably far ahead. And at this present moment in time as well, I don't think Donegal have the players to deal with the likes of up-and-coming talents. You look at Mayo, you look at Galway, who has a pretty underachieving year. Armagh have very good players coming through. Like, Ulster's going to be very tough next year. Like, honestly, there's a very, very good championship in Ulster. Jim McGuinness has to go on and win that first before he can go on and think about an All-Ireland. Then, not talking about Galway, Mayo, Dublin, Kerry. There's other teams around the country as well. You look at Tyrone.
There we go. 1 minute is up. 1 minute is up. So, do you know what? It's even again. I suppose, like, there was no one in the chat is coming into us here to let us know what's going on. So I suppose the last round I'd give it to Matthew. I think this one I'd give it to Seamus. I think to even it up. I do think both are very, very close, and to be fair, both very good arguments as well. Like, you could definitely go either way with either one of them. Next one is
politicians.
Say that again.
We could be politicians.
Definitely could be. It's not a good sign, is it? But here we go. Raymond Galligan will be a success at Cavan. So, Matthew, you can argue for, argue against.
I'm gonna go 4.
4. There we go. So 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Yeah, Cavan are starting off at a low base after Mickey Graham left, and when you look at it, they're going to Division 2 next season under the radar. They're appointing, I think, the right manager in Raymond Galligan, and yes, he's not proven in inter-county standards as a manager, but he does have experience in behind him. Stephen O'Neill, one of the best footballers ever. Ian Murray, probably one of the best football managers in the last few years. I know it's a different code in NGFA, but he won them 2 All-Ireland titles against the will with Meath. And when you look at Division 2 this year, if Cavan stay up, I think that's a success for them, looking at the panel they have at the moment. And what Raymond Galligan can do is he can bring back the players like Darren McVitie back into the panel, Conor Mine, and maybe even Thomas Galligan, because he has that pull factor in the Cavan team. And why they won the Ulster title was down to Raymond Galligan. He was captain of that team. He led them to victory, and he was absolutely excellent. Some close scores for Cavan down through the years. So I think he'd definitely lead Cavan to greater things in the future. And Ulster title isn't where Cavan are at the moment. I think staying up in Division 2 and possibly even if they're in the top.
There we go. Wasn't
Very
too
well
bad.
said. Well said.
You'll have to tell us why Raymond Galligan won't be a success at Cavan. Let's hear it.
Okay, Raymond Galligan will not be a success at Cavan because, in my opinion, Mickey Graham has brought them to the ceiling of what this group is capable of doing. I don't think that they're capable of pushing on in Division 2. I don't think they're capable of winning the Ulster Championship again. So then what is success? If they win the Tailteann Cup, a lot of people don't really rate that as being a competition where teams are going to win it. Just look at Donal Oak's comments, for example. So you look at that on the flip side as well. Raymond Galligan needs Raymond Galligan in the team. Him being not on the field is a huge blow. And on top of that, there's too many head chefs in that kitchen. There's too many people who are used to doing things their way. Eamon Murray, is he really going to be a number 2? Not in my opinion. I think issues will arise between the two of them, clashes in how they want to handle things. And I wouldn't be surprised if it ends quicker than you expect.
There we go. I feel like that was like a mic drop moment right there. That's like, I feel like this is a bit like a rap battle or something, and it's like going back and forth, and you just.
Can I just say, by the way, please, I do think he will be.
Yeah, you know, I think it will work out as well. To be fair, but I actually think, you know, I think you made some very good points, and I think, you know what, I think I'd have to give you the 5 points there. I think because. Yeah, I think he did make some good arguments. Like, in fairness, maybe Cavan have hit the ceiling, but then again, I suppose it all depends on what you measure as success. Like, I don't think anyone would expect Raymond Galligan to actually go and win Cavan an Ulster title, but yeah, there we are.
If Johnny Mack is watching, I didn't mean a word of anything I said, and
he's definitely showing this up to Raymond Galligan now. He's getting the video.
No, Raymond is such a lovely bloke as well. He seems like such a lovely bloke. I think he definitely will do well.
100%. Well, look, it goes down to the awards. Shame it's on 25, Matthew on 28 so far. So it's, you know, at least the last one is definitely going to go down to the war. At least we're going to have one last showdown. So who had the better season, Meath or Kildare? It's an interesting one. I think maybe one of the more interesting topics here. Amos, obviously you have the choice to go first this time around. So what are you thinking?
I'll go with Meath.
There we go.
I know Matthew wanted that one.
Yeah, I think we enjoy a good moment about Kildare on this podcast, in fairness. But here we are. So yeah, 3, 2, 1. Let's hear it.
Okay, so Meath had a better season than Kildare because if you're looking in the history books, what do you remember? You remember success. You remember trophies. Meath won a national trophy in Croke Park with a young team. They had the likes of Jack O'Connor, Conor Gray, Jack Flynn, all these young lads coming in, and they're building them on success. Colin O'Rourke is there. They're building for the future. Kildare, what are we going to remember about Kildare's year? We're going to remember Glenn Ryan complaining, Daniel Flynn not playing, Kevin Feely not playing, and they got knocked out in the All-Ireland group stages. That's a year that can be blurred in to so many different years, but Meath won a national trophy in the national stadium. That is a year to remember. So for me, Meath definitely had the better year while building a young team. Colin O'Rourke gave out 13 debuts. That's success.
There we are. That was well said. Well said. Matthew, you're going to have to talk to us about why Kildare had a better season.
Okay, here we go. And first of all, Kildare didn't get knocked out in the group stage. They got knocked out in the preliminary quarterfinals. So they actually went further than the group stage. And as well as that, okay, Meath won a trophy and they might be remembered for that. And Kildare were complaining, and that is correct. But Kildare won another 20 title this year, and that will push on the senior team in the next few years. And you look at Kildare's talent coming through. Derek Kieran is an outstanding player. If Daniel Flynn gets playing, he's an outstanding player too. Kevin Feely was outstanding in that game against Roscommon, producing some excellent scores to win out that game. And you look at Glen Ryan, Johnny Doyle's there, Dermot Early, I think, is still there. So they still have a base to go on and build something next season. And let's not forget, they were so close to beating Dublin in Croke Park. If they just had some tactical nous, they would have beat Dublin in Croke Park. Are Meath close to beating Dublin by winning a Tailteann Cup? Probably not, because you looked at Westmeath. Yes, they won a Tailteann Cup last year, but they lost the load in the Leinster Championship. So maybe it doesn't translate to success. So I think Kildare have had a better year than Meath.
There we go. Tell you what, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Like a lot of people in the chat are saying,
I feel like you could leave that one up to the people watching.
Yeah, like a lot of people are saying here, Meath had the better season, and I do agree. But the only thing is, who do we think actually had the better argument as such, rather than like,
Can I throw in one little point that you forgot to mention, Matthew? Didn't they like, this is if memory serves, but I swear Kildare smoked Meath in the league when they played each other.
Yeah, I think they did actually. Yeah, I think they did.
Well, like, it doesn't count now.
yeah.
But it was a game that didn't matter.
Yeah, so, true. Yeah.
Didn't count out, to be honest, but yeah.
Is there any way you could do a poll?
I can put one up after, actually. Definitely, I'll put one up after for each of them, and then we'll say to the people, for anyone who has tuned in or watched, we can get the audience's decisions. But that very much wraps it up anyway in terms of the questions and everything else. I will be curious to know people's opinions and who they think came out on top. Like, pretty much whoever won the argument, the last one, pretty much wins it. And I'm very, very up for the audience deciding. So we'll wait and see. If I had to choose anyone, I'd probably it is a tough one. I think Seamus maybe ever so slightly got it. I think the fact that you got to discuss Meath first maybe was the.
Oh no! Can I just state that I think Matthew and me both would slightly say that Kildare, not me, probably had the better season.
Yeah, I think they did as well.
Yeah,
that's
what I mean, is that by me getting to have first pick there, I feel like that gave me an advantage.
Absolutely.
We're not going to come up with the quip. A few little, a nice little Secret Santa present for somebody this time.
No, not this time. Not this time. I'll tell you what. We'll save that one for Christmas this year, and we'll save it for the special occasion. But in general, anyway, what did we think about Raymond Galligan's appointment for Cavan? Maybe just running through some general news stories or general topics. I mean, Matthew, what was your thoughts on Raymond Galligan coming in as Cavan manager? Like, it was an interesting one. When I first heard it, I was a little bit like, this is a little bit mental. It's a little bit crazy. But then when you look at his backroom team with Eamon Murray, and like, it's a star-studded backroom team. So it's one of them. It's touch and go whether it will actually work. But what's your opinions on it?
I think, it could work. When you look at Raymond Galligan on the pitch, he won that Ulster title with Cavan. I think he kind of led Cavan to that Ulster title in general, and I thought he was absolutely superb in doing that. But it is, Seamus made a good point in arguing against it. To be honest, one point in particular was too many cooks in the kitchen. How many managers do they actually have in the backroom team? Yes, Stephen O'Neill is there, Eamon Murray, they're outstanding players, or outstanding managers in their own right, but who else is there? There's a physiotherapist, there's a statistician, there's a dietitian. How many people do they actually need in the backroom team? And what would worry me about Cavan. But what would constitute success for Cavan, I think, is probably staying in Division 2. I think if they can get the better of an out, it's a success for them to stay up. But what Raymond Galligan does have, I think, is a pull factor. When you look at Darmot Beattie, Conor Mina, players who have left the panel over the last few seasons, Thomas Galligan, they believe in what Raymond Galligan can do as Cavan manager because they played with him, they've admired him all throughout his career. So I think Cavan could have a successful year, but to have a successful year, they have to stay up at Division 2. And can they do that? If they can get better load, I think they can.
I completely agree with that, by the way. I think if they stay in Division 2 and they win the Tailteann Cup, I think that's a roaring success of a year. I think Ulster's a little bit beyond them, to be honest, this year. I think Derry are too strong. I think Tyrone probably should get better. I still think it would be a little bit too far for them. And then Jim McGuinness back in with Donegal is going to turn that ship around real quickly as well. I do agree with the whole, like, too many head chefs in the kitchen, maybe. But on top of that, like, unless has anything happened over the weekend, but I haven't personally seen that. I could be completely wrong. As I said, I haven't been keeping an eye on any GAA news over the weekend. But has he come out and actually announced his personal, like, playing retirement? No, like I was saying this to Matthew. I think I was saying it to you, Matthew. Like, is it off the table that he plays and Eamon Murray runs the line?
The thing is, I actually come across a manager in my own club, and he's the manager of the Junior A team, and he sometimes plays in goal when the goalkeeper goes abroad or is injured or something. So it can happen. But that's a Junior A level, that's not inter-county level. So you never know.
Tony Hanaho famously did it for Dublin in the 70s. Like, I know that obviously it's a much different time, but Tony Hanaho in 1977 was player manager for Dublin, centre forward and the manager of the team. Yeah, I just feel like maybe Galligan had a role with that Cavan team. Well, he clearly did. He was one of their leaders, and I bet you Mickey Graham gave him a lot of messages to give the players on the field. And I feel like maybe, like, nothing will change in that regard. Maybe he'll just keep doing what he's been doing, but working with Eamon Murray on the sideline. And it might be like kind of a Brian Dewar, Fergal Logan, like a double team kind of act.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, all right. Like, and I don't think he has announced hasn't been announced as a player manager as such. But then again,
but Stephen O'Neill, this is what I'm fascinated. Where's Stephen O'Neill?
He probably doesn't have to necessarily announce his retirement, though. I suppose with the fact he's
true.
Because I think if he did announce his retirement as a player now, it would be a bit like, well, we kind of know, do you know that way? Like, we kind of get that gist, but at the same time, maybe he should clarify. But yeah, it's an interesting one, all right.
Where does Stephen O'Neill fit into it?
Yeah, that's
because I'm like, he was in with Tyrone, and
he was in with Antrim, I think, was he?
Yeah, I think he was in with Tyrone for a little bit, and he was in with Antrim, and I feel like he's one of those players that's like destined to become like his own manager, in my opinion. Yeah. And you see that, like, Ryan McMenamin's gone from being in the backroom team to being the front man to being back in the backroom team. Like, I always find it interesting, you know, does he want to be the lead man?
Yeah.
Like, look at it, like John Kiley, for example, with Limerick, he was never going to stay a number 2. That was never going to happen. And you wonder, like, will that be a potential issue? Will the player, you know, you're talking about Raymond Galligan being like a legend in Cavan, of course he is, but Stephen O'Neill's a legend as well. And if he's giving them different orders.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, all right. Like, I think it has the basis of that it could work. Like, I think when you said earlier about the fact that, like, he was the captain, I'm pretty sure he was the captain, because I remember him lifting obviously the Ulster title. So it could definitely work, all right. And I think it's gonna be an interesting one. Like, I suppose the big one is, how are they going to find to replace him, though, as well as goalkeeper? Like, that's going to be another interesting one, because I thought, like, goalkeeping wise, he was top drawer, in my opinion. Like, he was scoring loads. His kickouts were always brilliant. And I think having a great goalkeeper, like, they're hard to come by, really, when you think about it, especially into county level. You know, there's only probably 6-7 top goalkeepers in the country. And we've seen some counties having to switch goalkeepers, bring new ones in. So that's going to be an interesting one as well, to see who they find. But then again, there probably is no better man to pick his replacement than Raymond Galligan.
Yeah. Maybe pick a bad one and make himself look even better.
Maybe, yeah. Do Sir Alex on
it. Their backup goalkeeper has the name Liam Brady. And remember, Liam Brady was a legend for Irish soccer. So
yeah, never know.
Maybe it's him.
Out of the RTE studio.
Here we go. That's why we haven't seen him in the last couple of years. He's been the backup goalkeeper for Cavan.
Backup goalkeeper for Cavan.
There we are. Do you know what? He'd probably still have a good kick out on him, I'm sure, as well.
100%. There's definitely still play a good pass.
Absolutely. What about Jim McGuinness coming back? Matthew? What did you think about that? I mean, I know like it's obviously a couple of weeks ago now, like, and I made a video on the channel already discussing it and everything else. But what was your thoughts on it in general? Him coming back.
I think it's the right move for Donegal. It is really. Do I think they'll win the All Ireland in the next few years? They could do. I think they honestly could do. You look at, okay, Kerry probably will win it next year, but they don't necessarily do 2 in a row. You look at Dublin, that might be the last hurrah for them. But there's still a lot of teams to overcome. Like Galway are hitting the right form at the moment, like albeit, like when you look at this year, Galway only lost by a point in the championship to any team. So there's still some potential in that team. Mayo, Tyrone, if they get their act together, Armagh. So there's still some very, very good teams. So Donegal have to overcome them. But Seamus made a very good point earlier in this video. The confidence that he gives to Donegal players. Like I read a book, I think it was one Donegal player, maybe it was Jim himself, said to those players before winning the Ulster title in 2011, we will be Ulster champions, every one of the 33 players, and that made them believe. Let's not forget, in the years previous to Jim McGuinness' first appointment, in 2009 they got hammered out the gate by Cork and Croke Park. In 2010 they got hammered out the gate by Armagh in the qualifiers. Donegal was on a low ebb at that time, and roads are the same now. Nowadays, Donegal have been on a low ebb for years and years and years now, and maybe it's time for Jim McGuinness to come back. And as well as that, Donegal haven't reached an All-Ireland semi-final since Jim McGuinness was in charge in 2014. There may be kind of a coincidence there, but I think it's definitely a valid coincidence because Donegal have not had the confidence to get past teams. I think they discussed this with Seamus in the last few weeks as well. Donegal didn't have the confidence to get past Kerry in 2019. I think you both remember this game, Kerry-Donegal in 2019, the Super 8s. Donegal were probably the better team that day in Croke Park. They didn't have the confidence to get over Kerry. They didn't have the confidence to beat Mayo and McHale Park the next day either. That was the reason they didn't get to an All-Ireland semi-final. And Jim McGuinness can instill some confidence into the Donegal team. And Donegal aren't necessarily a bad group of players. They might not be All-Ireland winning standard right now, but when you look at the team, there is potential there. Kieran Thompson, Michael Langan, Niall O'Donnell, Paddy McBrearty, Jamie Brennan, Oisin Gallen, Caelan McColgan. There's some excellent players in the Donegal team. So I still think he has as good a chance as any to have success with the Donegal team at the moment. But the main thing for him now probably will be to get out of Division 2. It's going to be a tough division for them next season. If they can get out of Division 2, that'll be a start for them.
On top of that, can I jump in on this? Like on top of that, one thing that we didn't even say, Matthew, when we were talking about it, is he actually brings down the fear factor. Like every other team will be looking at it. The minute they see McGuinness is back, they'll be like, "Oh, McGuinness is back." We know what that means. Donegal are back, and that will make the players stick out their chests to a level that they've not done in a long time. And Aaron, I actually want to throw a question to you, if you're interested in answering this. I asked Matthew this. And it was a good debate point to look at. And we were saying, if you were a Donegal fan, would you be also a little bit kind of frustrated that he didn't come back sooner?
Yes and no, because I think things are going quite good under Declan Bonner. I think things are actually going quite well. Like if you take it back to I think he should have came.
Like nobody ever really thought he'd win.
Yeah, like I think last year was the year. I think, and I remember I think he even said in a newspaper or something that he was in talks to come back or something, but it just didn't work out or something like that. I feel like last year was the perfect year for him to come back because things like I feel like Donegal have regressed quite a bit since last year, not by a huge amount, but just by a little bit of an amount. And like maybe Michael Murphy might have stuck around last year, for example, and they might have had one more kick out of him, but I think things were going all right under Declan Bonner. They were winning Ulster titles. It was like, don't get me wrong, they weren't getting beyond All-Ireland quarterfinals, and I think there was an argument for a while maybe that they weren't getting the best out of the players that they had, but they were still getting to Ulster finals. So I think it was a tough one to dismiss Declan Bonner at that stage. But I think last year I was surprised, to be honest, he didn't come back.
Yeah, no. I definitely would agree with you. I would have loved to have seen him come back like 2016-ish, 2016 to
Yeah.
2017, because I think that was Murphy at his best. I think that was I'd maybe a bit of a Murphy at his best is like, I mean, he was always at his best, wasn't he? He was a cracking player from day one. But you still had the likes of the McGee brothers there. You still had, like, would he have got longer out of Carl Lacey? People like that you just couldn't underestimate how good they actually were. And
I think as well. I think because obviously he was involved with Celtic. I think he was managing a team in China. He was managing over in America as well, wasn't he? As an assistant coach, like obviously he was getting paid work, and I'd imagine for himself it was probably a dream to be involved in soccer. Like most people who follow Gaelic football have a shared, a bit of an interest in soccer as well. So I'm sure to get that opportunity and get that chance, I think was probably what kept him away from Donegal. When you actually look at it in the last couple of years and you actually look at his overall time as a coach in soccer, it actually probably hasn't gone that well, really, when you actually look at it. I think when he was managing over in China or America, it didn't go too well, different stages as well. So I think maybe now he's, in the last couple of years, he's probably looked at it and thought, it hasn't gone too well in soccer. Maybe I should come back to Gaelic football. And I think he's obviously been waiting in the works for this job, because there was talks that he was involved last year with Down and rumors and different stuff, but yeah, he's back now, and I think it's going to be interesting. I think it does add a bit more for Donegal, and it definitely makes Ulster incredibly interesting next year.
I love that he's back. Yeah, I love that he's back. I think because on top of that, what a lot of people forget as well is like he gave the Sunday game quite a lot to talk about. Wasn't afraid to take shots back at anybody who was criticizing the team and everything. Should you remember his interview with Pat Spillane, where he had a go for them devaluing the Man of the Match award at a match?
Yeah.
And the thing is, I remember actually, I don't know, do you remember this in 2011 against Kildare? He was going at Ciara McGuinness beforehand, who was the Kildare manager at the time, was talking about Donegal's tactics and saying they were too defensive and things like that. And it actually turned out, as the game progressed, Kildare ended up being more defensive than Donegal and putting down teams and being more cynical. And Jim McGuinness was willing to get back to Ciara McGuinness for that, even after the game. And even in 2011, after the Dublin game as well, he just didn't care the way Donegal played. I know it kind of pissed off everybody in the whole country, but he didn't care. That was the way he was going to play. That was the way he was going to win the All-Irelands. And, he changed his style as well. Like, I remember watching Donegal beat Cork in 2012, and I was just upset afterwards because Donegal didn't play a nice style of football. They beat Cork that day, but at the end of the day, Jim McGuinness didn't care. He won the All-Ireland because of that, and you have to applaud him because of that.
I'll never forget listening to Jimmy's winning matches getting belted around Croke Park when I was 13 years of age. Walking out after watching Dublin lose, I couldn't believe what had just happened. Yeah. I couldn't believe what had happened. I'd say, Aaron, I'd say you probably would agree with that. That, like, out of any year that Dublin haven't won it, 2014 was the most confident I felt that we would win it.
Absolutely, yeah. Because I remember we hadn't just been beating teams. We were beating teams with 10, 15, 20 points. I think we played Monaghan in the quarterfinals, and we absolutely wiped the floor with them. And I think Monaghan had beaten Donegal the season previous or something of that nature. They might have even beat Donegal. Yeah, something like that. So, like, considering how comfortable we beat Monaghan, I remember thinking, I was, and then at half time, I think we were 5 points up or something like that. It was looking fairly fair. I remember I was on the hill that day. I was at the game. It was a relaxed attitude, and then it was nearly like watching a boxer just get knocked out. Like, it was just like, whoa. It's like before we knew we were gone.
It was like out of nowhere.
Yeah, we were panicking left, right, and centre, and it was just it was absolutely mental. Mikey says Donegal had a quality underage team coming through just before McGuinness got the gig in 2011. They don't have that this time. It is a fair point. And do we think in terms of style, like, obviously he was known for that blanket defence. I think it's fair to say, like, most teams have adopted that style pretty much across the country. Does he come back to his team with the same style, or does he rip it up, or does he do something completely new? I have a sneaky feeling he's going to bring something new that we haven't seen, because I think it's going to be a bit too predictable, in my opinion, if Donegal just play the same way they did 10 years ago. But what do you think, Matthew? Maybe I'll come to you first on that.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me, because Jim McGuinness is the kind of manager that would do something out of the blue. Look at his performance against Dublin in 2014. Like, I wasn't at the game like you lads, but I was watching that game. I was thinking, Dublin are going to hammer them here. I remember actually Paul Flynn and Burler Brogan and all them taking points from beyond the 45, which Dublin needed to pass the blank defence. But Donegal somehow came back into the game with a scruffy goal. And actually, the plan was for the kick-out. I know there was defensive plans and all that, but he had such a unique plan for the kick-out. Give it to Michael Murphy. He flick it on. Get it to, I think it was Colin McFadden that apparently by Brearley into it. And it caused Dublin all sorts of problems that day. Jim McGuinness is the kind of guy to come up with these ridiculous plans and come to fruition. And he makes players probably perform better than they actually are. And I made this point to Seamus. How many of that, yes, they had good underage success, granted. But how many of that Donegal team, would you say, without Jim McGuinness's influence, would be top class? I would argue maybe 2, Michael Murphy and Carl Lacey. The rest, I wouldn't say would have been top class without Jim McGuinness's influence on the team. So for that reason, I think he's the guy to drill something into these Donegal players and get them playing. Because he made them play above their expectations. No other manager in the country, I don't think, can do that.
I completely agree with that, by the way. Can I tag on to that? Like, because what McGuinness did when everybody's talking about, and this is what Matthew was talking about when he was saying about telling the players every day, we're going to win an Ulster Championship, we're going to win an Ulster Championship, we're going to win the All-Ireland. He's just setting the culture. And like, that's the other thing that Jim Gavin was talking about with Dublin and Pat Gilroy was talking about with Dublin, is that if you were to have these top class players like your McBrairties coming into the team, if the culture in the team is terrible, they'll get swallowed into a terrible team culture, and their potential as top class players will go with it. You need a coach there to set the culture of the dressing room, set the culture of the team. And I think the culture that McGuinness set in allowed the players to express themselves to their fullest. And look, maybe the style of play didn't let them express themselves to their fullest, but it definitely made them believe in themselves and made them super professional, as fit as they've ever been, as strong as they've ever been, and as confident as they've ever been.
Yeah, no, it's going to be really interesting. All right, definitely keeping a look at it next year, and I think it just adds a completely different dimension to the Ulster Championship next year. Like, where you've got Down on the up, you've got Derry who will still be there, Armagh will be gunning for it, Tyrone I'm sure will be back. Like, you've got, I think you could argue it's going to be as competitive as Ulster has ever been. Like, you'd only really look at Antrim and Fermanagh and say, right, that, you know, with all due respect, those two counties, and even Fermanagh, to be fair, have shown huge improvements the season gone. But even at that, you would look at it and think, like, Ulster next year is going to be something else.
Oh, stop. It's the best. It is the best provincial championship, like, no doubt about it. And it has been for, I would argue, the past 10 years more. I think the last time Ulster was a foregone conclusion was 2010 when Tyrone won
it.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. I actually can't remember when there was actually a foregone conclusion for an Ulster Championship before that. I really can't. Tyrone maybe in the Ulster final in 2017 against Down, possibly.
Yeah, Donegal 19 maybe, to be fair. Well, or Donegal 18 when they played Fermanagh maybe in the final.
But then even then, how like that, the fact that Fermanagh got to the final, knocking out Monaghan, was crazy.
Yeah, and they beat Armagh, I think, as well. Yeah, it was crazy.
True. So mental. Yeah, it's going to be an unbelievable year.
No, still here, still alive, still going.
So, what is the verdict, Aaron?
I don't know. I think maybe you shaded it ever so slightly, Seamus. I think you might have.
That's one quiz each. Matthew won.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll try and make this a bit more of a regular, and we'll definitely try.
I enjoyed that.
Other people involved as well.
Yeah, I enjoyed that thoroughly. Do you want to? What would be a next matchup you'd be thinking? Actually, who would you like to see go head to head?
I was trying to get big John McMahon on, but I know he had a match or something. So hopefully he
We'll try to get
did
Buff
well.
Egan
Hopefully
on against
best of luck.
against
Yeah,
him.
maybe get Buff Egan in. To be fair, yeah, Jesus, that would be. I don't know about it. I think Buff Egan has me removed or blocked or something, so I don't think he'd be coming on this anytime soon. But who knows? Maybe we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. But yeah, no, there's definitely. Look, I think we could definitely get a good few people on. Tell you what, maybe if you were to call someone out or something like that, who would you? If you're in the ring right now and I give you the microphone, who would you call now?
We'll start with you, Matthew.
Just because of his comments about Cork after the Mayo game, Jonathan Morley.
Oof. It's actually a bit of personal
Beef.
stuff there. It's a shame Buff wouldn't do it. I'd love to have a bit of a head-to-head with him. But in the same way that me and Matthew.
To be fair, he doesn't do many interviews. In fairness, like I think he's
no, but like as in he definitely is a big fan of the GA. So I'd say he does know his stuff. I'd love to have a good debate with Donald Cusack.
that'd be a
Love
good
to have a
one,
good. I know it won't happen. I know it won't happen. I know it won't happen. But if there's one guy who believes in his opinions and would be a good man or a tough man to beat in a debate, it would be Donald Cusack.
Jesus, yeah. I suppose the first question: hurling has oxygen. We'll let Donald Logue argue why. that'd be the first one, I think.
Yeah.
Another one actually, Sean Kavanagh.
Sean Kavanagh, very interesting.
Yeah. I suppose he said a few things about Cork down the years.
Has done. He's probably just salty after 09. Cork being drawn. He's been salty ever since that year. He's he doesn't know. Like, did you see him the day the Cork beat Roscommon, I think, on Sunday Game Highlight Show? You could just see his frustration on his face, but he had to credit Cork for that win. Like it was good TV.
Yeah.
Good TV for sure. I'd love to see more GA creators on here now. Like make it a little kind of quarterfinals, semi-finals, final type thing.
We could do, yeah. We could set up, a little.
That'd be pretty cool. I feel like
I have to try to get myself in this as well. I don't know how.
Yeah, throw yourself into it. Like I'll sit here in the middle and put you against Matthew, and you can see how miserable it is for me to try and.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I don't know if you've seen my I did a video reacting to my GA predictions there.
You name a Munster quarterfinal played 4 months ago and say who was the top scorer. Just Tony Buzz.
Yeah, just no.
He didn't even know he knew that.
Knowledge. Inside knowledge.
I'd love to see like great lads that I've worked with. Like I'd love to see like Shawnee Ryan, the GA room, Jason Loaf of Bread, Johnny Mack, obviously. Like there's a lot of really good. I know I'm forgetting people there. Third Man Tackle as well. They do great stuff. Yeah. O'Shane and those lads. Like I feel like there'd be enough people to run a little. But what will we do? We do a Super 8 and then what will we do? A Tolkien Cup.
We'll do group of 5, 4 teams go through. 5th place plays a qualifier with a 3rd place team, and then the 1st place team
plays the junior championship winners on Friday night.
Yeah,
disaster.
Two ones worked as well. The creator of the GA Cracker app, Kevin Kennedy, he was on the GA Map podcast with me recently. Another good guy. And another one, Chloe Lynch from Mayo.
Chloe Lynch, of course, yeah. There's one guy. He's a pundit with the second captains. I've listened to him a couple of times. Jamie Wall, isn't it?
Jamie Wall, yeah.
Jamie's a fan. I think he's brilliant. I think he's really, really good. I've never met him, but he's just someone that I've listened to a few times, and like he makes class points. Sarah O'Donovan from Cork, so I've been privileged enough to do a bit of work with her. Like she knows her stuff.
Well, there we go.
If he retires this year, Chrissy McCaig.
You think he retire?
I don't know, has he retired yet, but
No, not yet.
if he was to retire, I think he'd be the absolute ideal man to go into punditry. I interviewed a few years ago, and he's just on point nearly every point. It was so interesting just listening to him. So that's one to look at.
For sure. Yeah, well,
perfect stuff. Well, there we have it. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Well, yeah, I suppose, let us know anyway in the comments down below, like who you did think came out on top in the end in the quiz, and we'll definitely do more of this again soon. So yeah, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Check out Matthew's podcast, The Gaelic Statsman. Check him out on Instagram as well, and make sure to check out on Clitha on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all platforms. So cheers, lads, for coming on. Cheers, anyone who tuned in, and we will speak to you all soon.